Hello again everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. As you can see with the many other commanders in the background, we are watching a team match today. And it's the same map that we saw recently actually. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, so let's have a look. Bismuth Valley, that's the one. Right, so as we see, it's a 4v4. Today, rather than having blue and red on the two cameras, what I've done is I've set it to be the bottom lane. So it's Blodir versus Watch Behind, because this is a lane-based map. So it's basically like this section will be first Blodir. This, trying to hit draw here, this will be like Teddy versus Akumar. This will be Skag versus Coochie, and right at the top we'll have Droid versus Autopilot. So quite an interestingly laid out map. There's quite a lot of metal extractors to be had here, so it'll be interesting to see what's behind, doing a very interesting start position here, wanting to really be as far forward as possible and also make somewhat better transition to the extra metal points. But that is Shotty approves this build. There you go. So Shotty approves. Does put you in a further forward position, makes this factory be able to react quicker to movement either side of him, puts him in a quicker position from coming out of the factory to more metal extractors, and also puts him further towards the front. Now, if he is able to take this position here, it puts him in a good position to then deny this part here, because he holds the ramp. Now, this is like a flat area ramp, so it's going to be quite difficult to hold. Blodir already actually planning a very forward bot lab, as we see here, right in the center of the map, which will then eat up his rear lab. And just continue pushing units out the front, but pushing one out so early on is quite interesting. Now, Teddy, you doing the scout thing and defending as much as he can with the scouts that he's got. He so far hasn't lost anything, so very well played. Not even losing that metal extractor that was getting built. Akumar unable to get anything of value from those scouts. Skag at the same time just pumping out grunts, doing a decent job defending pretty much anything. I actually didn't realize that he was Cortex there. I hadn't actually zoomed in and just presumed it was grunts, and lo and behold, it is. Droid doing the same. Plenty of stuff to be had here. Autopilot at the top, just taking his time. There's so much metal on this map here, it kind of makes sense to go as much eco as possible. Blodir probably has 10 cons. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, and a con turret. No, not quite so many. Coochie just pushing out a ton of scouts here. But as soon as they start going against the grunts here, they're going to lose value pretty quickly. Good against early harass, but as soon as your opponent starts pushing out actual units, it's not quite as valuable. These scouts were trying to get through, or Akumar just forgetting about them for a brief second, and unfortunately they get absolutely decimated. Now, even with what's behind's forward position here, he didn't move his commander up, and because of that, doesn't have the build power further forward, and Blodir has managed to build a very forward bot lab, which will now make it difficult for him to hold at least these two metal extractors, maybe even this one, which is quite a lot to lose if it was a normal match. But considering there is so much here, it's not going to hit that bad. This was a good run by here by Watch Behind, managing to get 3 metal extractors, and that's it. they will now get swarmed and destroyed before they're able to get anything else. But they did their job. They pulled forces away from the front. Bugs already coming out from Blodir. Watch behind needs to get some value from these units while he can. Feels a bit unfortunate for Watch behind going up against the highest OS player on the opposing team here. His job is basically to hold out as long as possible here against Blodir. He kind of just needs to hold the line, do as much as he can to just stave off Blodir, while someone else in a better lane, i.e. Autopilot up here versus Droid, is basically the same principle. He's hoping Autopilot is going to be able to push Droid out and then be able to swipe down from the top. Kuchi's looking quite short on units at the moment. Defending against this large group of units going up to flank Akumar. Ooh, watch behind losing his forward con. That's not good. Meanwhile, Akumar has to deal with these grunts of Skag making their way up the hill. Kuchi's let them through and they're still marching on. They actually are going for Kuchi instead. Able to save the constructor only just in time. And these guys, though they may get a couple more metal extractors, maybe. Actually, saying that, they'll get 4 more metal extractors if timed well here. Very nice. And actually getting into the back line of Akumar, giving Akumar even more hassle to deal with. I love how Akumar has walled off Blodir at the bottom here and just like, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to build a wall and let what's behind deal with it. Blodir building a wall really far forward here, putting this beholder behind it because when it cloaks, it's not going to be able to be hit because of the wall, which is going to give Blodir some very nice vision here. But this is not looking good for Watch Behind. Really pushed back here now. He's trying to hang on. He can't just go rocket bots because of this group down here. But Blodir now at Tech 2. Already got Sheldons on their way out. And Watch Behind has instead gone air. He's built the air lab. Hasn't actually done anything with it just yet.
Commander destroyed.
Commander further up has been killed. That was Kuchi's. Quickly switch over to what's going on over here. Oh no, the vehicle lab is blocked, so he's not able to get any more forces out. And now the factory is going to shut off. He's trying to use Janice's to take out Skag. Skag's commander almost down. 13% health. He's going all in. Janice shots just miss. 5% health. Skag manages to get out of danger. Very, very close. Akumar, though, is now in danger as Teddy has managed to completely overwhelm Akumar on this bottom side and is just rushing through with a vast amount of forces. Meanwhile, for Watch Behind, it is all falling apart as Sheldons have made their way forward. Shurikens have come out and are helping slow this down, but these guys could have really done with going for the Sheldons instead. But saying that, the whole bottom of the map is just collapsing as the forces of Blodir are going to be able to rush straight through into Akumar. Akumar already losing the center with versus Teddy, and Autopilot basically needs to win like 5 minutes ago in order to kind of pull this back. Now he is slowly pushing forward, but it's not really going to be quick enough, as this is basically going to wipe out Watch Behind. He's got nothing to stop this. Akamar is trying to help his teammate, but that's Watch Behind dead. Akamar is sure to follow shortly after this. Watch Behind should maybe debate either trying to trade his comm with Blodir or trying to take out as much stuff as he can. Oh, never mind. Skag. Bombing run on the Tech 2.
Commander destroyed.
Does not manage to hit the factory, but now we'll go back into the eco and shut down Autopilot. Akamar was fed a whole bunch of metal. This looks like this match has easy tax on, by the way, so he didn't actually receive everything. Behind's team wants to keep playing here. Bombers just shutting down the economy of all the rest of the team. Although these bombers have not been very well aimed, to be honest with you. Like, there's just like one metal extractor out of 4. Akamar lost 1 metal extractor. 1 metal extractor there and some wins. Like, not the best micro in the world. Everything's being given to Akamar now in an attempt to try and be able to deal with Blodir and Teddy. With the amount of metal that went into those bombers, you would have thought that Kuchi would have been able to push through, but instead not. What is Akamar going to do, though, versus 2 of the best players in the game? Teddy and Blodir are, you know, nothing to, like, you know,
Commander
doubt
destroyed.
here. They are tremendous players. Bedbug. Only able to get 1. Watch Behind should just sack his comm, I think, to be honest with you. Sack your comm into the Sheldons. And actually, we'll switch the camera here over to Akamar because there's no point keeping it on. No point keeping it on Watch Behind right now, as Watch Behind's basically dead. Akamar just really trying to hold on here. Mass shurikens have shut down Autopilot's push on the top side. Watch Behind is correct now. Autopilot did have a good roll going here, but unfortunately that has all gone downhill. Gucci's trying to do something about this mass shuriken wave, but there's just so many shurikens here. He's just shutting down everything. Fighters coming in, managing to deal with them, but there's just so much here. There's so many tigers, and you've got all of this on the opposite side. All these bombs are needing microing. You can't just send them in. If you just sends them in, they just die, so it doesn't really do anything. Grunts are being fielded here to try and absorb some damage as the bedbugs come in. Think of them as like proxy spy bots, I guess. Just trying to do something, but Blodir now having the entire bottom part of the map metal extractors, except for these 4. He's gotten so much metal right now. And Akamar is just losing ground bit by bit. Teddy is playing it extremely safe here. He's not wanting to push in if he doesn't need to. Letting Blodir do his job. Blodir applying the pressure. Teddy doesn't have to. Skag has followed Kuchi down, though, as he moves along the center here to try and block off some of Teddy's reinforcements. Now, there are quite a lot of blitzes here. Teddy's moving his commando well positioned to try and stop this push. There's so many blitzes, though. They are going to make it through. But saying that, Akimar has lost his entire base now. As we switch back over to Akimar. Pretty much it. As we look over to the top side, though. Zars versus Fat Boys. And Autopilot not going to be able to hold on for that much longer. The raid, by the way, at the bottom side did manage to get relatively far, but didn't manage to actually kill any of Blodir's Tech 2 economy. It just ran through and has now opened up the gap for Kuchi to have no units to do anything with. Kuchi has also switched entirely to air with the hope that he could maybe grab Commander, maybe? He's trying to get rid of the build power of the Tech 2 factory here in order to try and help Autopilot, but it's a bit late for that. There's no point even looking at the stats, but 400 metal a second to 100, that's nothing. Autopilot now the only one that hasn't resigned. And we're just going to start seeing Gucci's old base get destroyed. I don't know if Autopilot even realizes. Oh, that's a red air transport. Okay, Autopilot has the last comm in the air in the corner of the map. Maybe they tried to resign and he can't, or I don't know. I don't know why that would happen. But Autopilot is donezo. Blodir just showing how strong he was. That play to move up all the way far forward here, build this this bot lab really far forward, and then just like pushing up onto this hill. Basically exactly what we thought. Watched behind do that. I figured him building this here was because he was going to march forward and get as far forward as possible. But instead he just kept his guy in his base, and that basically lost the bottom. Now we didn't quite watch exactly why Akimar lost versus Teddy, but they are both very good players, so you know anything can happen. But as we watch all of the red units just get completely destroyed. Autopilot still playing here, trying to desperately hang on as he sits in this corner of the map. Not really doing... All of these fighters have to do is just go into this corner and that's it. But no, they're just like, I'm just gonna go take out that red base. Did they even get a comm? No, they didn't. That's disappointing. Well, whilst this one wraps up, it's pretty obvious who's going to win this. Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked this. This is a very quick 4v4. And if you want me to continue doing more like small team games, let me know. I thought you guys liked them, which is why I start doing them. But, you know, if that's not the case, let me know. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
Battle ended.